Hello, welcome along to 21st Century Football, a complete guide to football since the year 2000. My name's Adam Brown. You know how this works. We look at some of the iconic players from the 21st century. With me today, we have got the lovely Statman Dave.
Hello.
That was I deserves more. That was a great introduction for you. The lovely
I'm
Statman
just a
Dave.
bit. The topic today cuts me emotionally. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Just gonna do a little bit of a what like this cuts me.
Okay. And while Statman Dave cools off, hello to Will Brazier.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I think there's going to be a sort of lot of chat about, obviously, Tevez switching Manchester clubs, which I only can compare to when Alex McLeish left Birmingham to Aston Villa, sort of comparable levels.
Yeah, or maybe Craig Gardner. Was he a bit of a...
Well, Gardner's born a blue, mate, so less of that, please.
Oh, okay. Listen, I've already got one person to see him. We don't need to get another one.
True.
Yeah, so that's how it's going to work. Obviously, we've already alluded to who today might be all about. Of course, we are talking about a player who is quite a divisive figure, some people would say, Mr. Carlos Tevez.
Quite divisive.
Yeah, all right, okay.
Quite divisive.
Do you know what, Dave? Before you start seething, Will, let's start as we always start, and let's do a little bit of a dive into his Wikipedia page.
Carlos Alberto Tevez was born 5th of February 1984. He's an Argentine professional footballer who plays as a forward for Boca Juniors. A quick, tenacious, powerful, hard-working and dynamic forward in his prime, Tevez is capable of playing as striker, as winger and as a supporting forward, or, Dave, as an attacking midfielder. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say a winger, sorry. I think that is a little bit wrong. Mobile forward, yes. Winger, no.
Right, okay. He moved to English clubs West Ham United in 2006 and Man United in 2007, plagued by issues relating to third-party ownerships by Media Sports Investment. To me, the name Media Sports Investment, alarm bells should be ringing.
Yeah, he sounds like a generic.
Yeah.
Let's just throw some words together which sound kind of, plausible.
Yeah, that was, of course, when the Premier League and FIFA regulations sort of, spat him out and chewed him up again. In 2009, Tevez joined Manchester United rivals Manchester City for £47 million. 2010-2011, he won the Premier League Golden Boot, and in the 2011-12 season, he won the Premier League title. Very successful at Manchester City.
He was very successful, which we'll get onto a bit later.
Oh, yeah, we'll get right into that.
Take a look at just personal honours. He was more successful at Man United. But let's continue.
Dave, please. In 2013, he joined Juventus, where he won 2 Scudettos.
Scudettos.
Is that correct?
You did all right, yeah.
Among other trophies. But I almost slightly forgot about this Juventus period. I'll be honest, I'm going to put my cards on the table. I forgot he went to Juve.
Yeah, what you mean, once he finished at City, it's almost like, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Once he finished at Man United, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Career gone, then delete him from memory. See you later, Carlos. Goodbye.
Career gone, Premiership title, top scorer.
Exactly, yeah. Tevez made his international debut for Argentina in 2004, earning 76 caps, scoring 13 times. He's been South American Footballer of the Year 3 times, Argentinian Player of the Year twice, and Argentinian Sports Person, Dave. So that's his on and off-field characteristics being awarded. He's also been named in the South American Team of the Year 3 times. So great guy on the pitch, great guy off the pitch. I'm sure we can all agree.
That's collective. Lock that in. That's done.
Yeah.
No, listen. Look at his achievements there in terms of his career. I mean, listen, Dave. Putting the United kind of bias aside, we've got to admit.
Going to be brutally honest, that's not going to happen on this show.
All right.
Carlos Tevez has turned me into a cynic. Carlos Tevez broke my heart. Carlos Tevez was my favourite player at Manchester United in that period of Manchester United dominance.
Really?
And then he did the dirty.
Do you know
to do that, move from one Manchester club to another Manchester club, is unforgivable.
I know. Do you know what?
Even as a Man City fan, I would not take that. I would never ever want a Man City player to play for Manchester United. No, thank you.
I'd tell you one name you shouldn't mention near Dave. Terry Cook.
Wow.
He did the same.
Who's that, your uncle?
No, he did the same. He left United, came to City.
I can't comprehend it. Like, what was he thinking? Fair enough. That United didn't sort out the contract, the transfer, quick enough. Whatever. But to go to Manchester City at the time was just disgusting.
But
that really talks to me about character. Tevez pretends that he's not involved emotionally in the Premier League. You're telling me a guy doesn't understand about rivalry when he plays for Boca Juniors? Are you pretending that River Plate Boca Juniors is nothing? That he doesn't get derbies? This thing is so big. Look, he left Manchester United in his pomp. He never achieved what he achieved at Manchester United again. He never was that as successful as he was at Manchester United. Yeah, he scored goals. Yeah, he may have won the Premier League. But we're talking, he left Man United a year after they won the European Cup, and they made it to the final the year after.
But I think he did understand rivalries, and that is exactly the reason he left.
I don't think so. I don't think he would have done that. He's never, ever going to leave Boca Juniors and go to River Plate.
Yeah, but that's... Yeah.
Same rivalry.
Same thing. Because he wasn't born in Chorlton, Dave. He was born in Argentina.
But then that's not... That's the thing that I think that defends him from... He understands it. He gets it.
Exactly.
So
and that's why he went...
It's even... Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm not, you mean,
it's deceitful. It's shocking.
You think he should have, because he would have been aware of like the Boca Juniors River Plate thing, he should have had a bit more understanding when he was at United to not go to City.
Absolutely.
But at the time, you could argue that obviously City were on the up. They were heading towards being Premier League winners. If he wanted to stay in England, it was probably the best.
United had just got to back-to-back European Cup finals.
Hang on.
If there's any club that you lead, that you just don't move to another team in the Premier League.
We've had enough red agenda. When you signed him, how did you feel?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I always thought he was an incredible player anyway. And obviously, if you're going to be a beneficiary from a transfer like that, if there was if the shoe was on the other foot, so to speak, Dave, if United signed a player from City, one of, a player that you really, really rate as a City player that you think would be great at United, you're not going to go, he shouldn't have made the move.
No, 100%.
Yeah, you'd be like,
I would not want Kevin De Bruyne at Manchester United. Full stop. Wouldn't want him.
Are you joking?
Wouldn't
At
want
least we got a YouTube
title
title.
from Man City. It's this fact. Leeds United are a bit of a feeder club, so that's okay. But the rivalry's deep. It's a serious rivalry.
I get it, but it doesn't diminish his
I don't
ability
want
as a player.
Sergio Aguero. I don't want, John Stones. Just don't want them. No, thank you.
Some wild claims early doors here, Will. I mean, how do you...
Not for me. There's a divide here. There's a seriousness to this.
I find it hard to get seriously sort of animated and invested in this argument when Dave's crying about losing Tevez, yet they still had Rooney, Ronaldo and Berbatov. And I'm sat looking at David Dunn and Robbie Savage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I find it hard to really sort of feel any sympathy.
But, do you know what? As much as, people might disagree with what Dave's saying or agree with it.
I think that most people would.
No, I do think there's something there, Dave, with what you're saying about, on this podcast, we've often focused not just on what their ability is as a football player, but as a character as well. Because it does kind of speak... do you know what I like about it? It's the ruthlessness, which I do think Tevez had as a player, but also off the pitch as well.
Yeah.
He just seemed to be devoid of...
It's not ruthlessness. It's just sheer stupidity.
It's not, though.
He never got to the heights of his career at Man United. He was considered as one of the best players in the world.
But he felt unwanted. Fergie never called. He never texted.
Oh, did he not?
No, that's what Tevez
that's
said.
interesting. Yeah, cool.
So
That's
I mean,
fine,
if you don't feel loved, what do? You get out of town. Well, stay in town, but just go to
down the road, a couple of miles down the road. No, I don't think it diminishes his ability as a football player. Let's look at it objectively first before we get into that the other stuff of loyalty and all the rest of it.
Tell you what, I'm not going for a pint with him. No chance. Nowhere near.
But let's talk
Rather
about
eat glass.
Let's talk about objectivity here. Will, as a football player, Carlos Tevez for me, incredible striker. So multifaceted.
Yeah, like proper tenacious. I know that it's a phrase that gets used a lot, like running through a brick wall, but you could actually imagine him running through a brick wall and coming out with the ball very delicately as well. Just absolute bulldog on the pitch, but then had that sort of finesse to, get your RBs and your circles out for a nice whipped circle goal like you do on FIFA. Just bulldog.
Dave, let's just put the anger and aggression to one side for a
you know what I mean? Just
be objective,
right? Can you at least
objective?
Can you at least say?
Well, at Manchester United, look, I think the big thing when Carlos Tevez came to Man United, we had Rooney up front already, who was also quite tenacious, and I think having the two of them up front together was one of the reasons why United was so good, because they led from the front. You had no moment off against Rooney and Tevez, and I think that was the beauty of the team, that these two guys would run through brick walls. And I'd argue that at that point, Tevez was probably a bit better than Wayne Rooney.
You're throwing out some big YouTube titles
in a sense of, I think Tevez was different, but equally, Rooney is a wonderful footballer, but he was a different player, and I think that's why that front three worked, is because they were they were very unselfish on the pitch. They worked for each other, and it allowed Ronaldo maybe to do a little bit less defending. Rooney took the brunt of it, but Tevez did lead from the front and he did press, and it does mean that point of, we go into pressing and all that right now, which is so prominent where teams press together. This was a guy that would just run after someone for no reason. Like, like, speaking to like Wes Brown about it, it's like, yeah, he just used to go and run on his own. You think, what the hell is he doing? But then the rest of the team go with it, and then you win the ball back and you transition quickly. And I think that was the beauty of that front three, is the speed of transition for that United team was sensationally quick and powerful and strong. And again, never got to that level in football.
Do you think the reason why he might be so upset about it is because he was a brilliant player for United?
No, it upset me because he was my favourite player and he joined the team that I hated.
You see, they're peeling back the layers now, Will. We're
But
getting
then
more into it.
that's-
He was his favourite player.
I've already said that favourite player, and that's something that hurt. But at the same time, like, I think it's a terrible move for him. I think he made a big, career decision that went down the pan, in a sense of he could have achieved so much at Manchester United.
He did all right at City, though.
But he didn't nowhere near what he did at Man United.
Yeah,
And he was only at Man United for 2 years.
But he
3
wasn't
years.
motivated to play for Manchester United at the end of his time.
At the end of his time, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if he'd sucked up and then, fine, we're going to stay at Manchester United and make the best decision. Look, he was very money motivated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the right thing for footballers? We see so many footballers take
Yeah.
the wrong career choices and don't achieve what they can achieve because of they are money motivated. And that is one of the cancers of modern football, is that. We think about some big players that have not achieved where they could have achieved. And Tevez is another one that his talent and what he did, he should have won more than one Champions League.
Whoa, stop what you're doing there. If you want to listen to the full podcast, click the link in the description down below and you can hear what we really think. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, drop a subscribe and get in the comments down below. What would you rate this footballer out of 90? Would you take him for a pint? Probably not.